Good afternoon. Let me jump right into it. Okay, so Jamaica, located in the Northern Caribbean, and it's the fourth largest country within the Caribbean region. But what I want to point out is two historical events, and you'll see where this actually goes. In 1692, we had the Port Royal earthquake. At that time, the Port Royal was considered the wickedest city on earth, right? It was a big British naval base and very destructive earthquake, well documented. In 1907, they then had this event in Kingston, which of course you had a lot of significant building damage, a lot of fires. So of course, in recent times, the seismicity is cyclic within the region. So in recent times, we've had several significant events that affected many of the Northern Caribbean countries. And because of this, it sort of propelled more interest within seismic risk, seismic hazard understanding, etc. And of course, the need for effective mitigation. So over the years, we've actually tried to build out a network, and there's been a lot of support from the CTBTO in actually getting to where we need to be. So here's just a synopsis in terms of regional context for Jamaica. It's located in an intraplate zone between North American plate and the Caribbean plate. There's, of course, several major faults that run across the Northern Caribbean and North American plate boundary. Of course, the dominant one would be the left lateral strike-slip faults that seem to dominate the tectonics for Jamaica itself. And of course, the map just shows maybe 50 to 60 years of seismic, the larger events. So these are events that were greater than 5.2. And we have some of the major fault lines drawn over here as well. In terms of the earthquake unit, we have our seismic network, various networks, strong motion, broadband, new citizen network. We also have the tsunami warning station, CTBTO's National Data Center, as well as some GPS observational stations. Of course, we continue to build out our research side of things, and we're hoping that we can attract more young researchers that we can train and encourage into the field. So here's just an overview of our network. Currently, we have over 70 sensors, different stations, deployed across the island. Of course, the island is less than 11,000 kilometers squared, right? And green showing us the broadbands, the yellow showing us what we have, the new Raspberry Shakes, just as some temporary deployments to help fill in the gaps, and the red dot showing us some of the strong motion, which is at critical facilities, but also at the broadband stations. So here's 2 years of seismic activity, 2023 and 2024. In 2023, there was actually one of the greatest, or at least in over 50 years, one of the largest seismic events, magnitude 5.6. And this created a lot of panic, as you can imagine. Pretty shallow event, and Jamaica hasn't experienced this. A lot of people who, the youngsters, would not have experienced any significant earthquake. So it sort of woke up the country as a seismic risk. Of course, some of our work has been looking at focal mechanisms, doing the beach ball solutions for some of the more well-recorded earthquakes themselves. And you can see Eastern Jamaica tend to be more active in terms of seismicity. And again, this is because of the regional tectonics. So a bit on the history of the CTBTO with Jamaica. In 2022, we actually had a workshop there, and there was E.S. Hoffman at that time, who visited the earthquake unit. And this sort of started that sort of linear momentum. We've also had staff members who joined CTBTO and worked at CTBTO. But most importantly, I want to highlight in 2025, we got the CBS upgrade, which we are grateful for. Because since I joined the unit, I have not been able to access any of the data on the old system. I had no one to really show me, how to utilize it. So it's from the training programs and, the capacity building initiatives that we actually got a bit of insight and a bit of movement with these things here. So you can see in the last picture here is a sort of a mini training program we had on site. Of course, most of the NDCs or all of them would benefit from such things. And we have some of the upgrades in the past as well. All right, so in addition to, the verification for the country itself, what we began utilizing it for is our seismic monitoring. And of course, we see some sort of regional need. We see some of the other small island developing states require support. They don't have a seismic monitoring network. They don't have their internal processes. They rely on central points within the Caribbean for technical support. But one of the big benefits has been, of course, the training initiatives. And since a workshop, CTBTO's workshop in April of 2025, we've actually had many calls even from the nuclear research lab in the country who wanted to, understand a bit more in terms of what is the National Data Center. You say this is National Data Center. What do you mean by CBS? What do you mean by the civil and scientific applications? So thankfully, we've, started dialogue with some of the other entities here. And what I'm trying to promote is avoid working in silos. We need to have collaborative effort. It don't need to be one group of technical experts. And we cannot have that segregation between the high-level representatives and the scientific community. Right, so we see that picture over there. Of course, that was with E.S. Floyd, and that's at close to our NDC. And this is just sort of showing us inside our data center itself, giving a tour. Right, so again, this here shows us one of the benefits of the CBS system and the training programs that we've benefited from. And we've utilized this for our February event, 7.6, magnitude 7.6 earthquake that occurred close to Cayman Islands, which is to the west of Jamaica. And of course, this was on a Saturday, 6 p.m. on a Saturday after 6. So there was a lot of panic, people asking what's going on, social media, very active. People saying, oh, tsunami, what's going on? So we were able to use automatic solution to at least advise the high-level government officials, after which we then went in and do our manual intervention and, did a solution for it, etc. But comparatively, we see the automatic regional detection using IMS auxiliary station, other networks, our local network. But then the training itself actually prepared us or propelled us to be able to utilize our own network within the NDC applications itself. And again, we've utilized this for some of the felt earthquakes that we've had locally. And we have now our NDC system or our CBS system, then we have our production systems otherwise. So we're seeing this continuous build out of our data center. And overall, what we are trying to get is, maybe we start to consider somewhere like Latin America, Caribbean, that because of the lack of technical expertise in some of the smaller islands, maybe it's something where we then create these regional hubs. And I'm sure that this would benefit both the scientific community as well as local stakeholders. So that's all from me today. I hope that I didn't take up much of your time. Thank you very much.